Hey guys, it's April with Crafting with April. I'm going to try to get through this video showing you guys how to do the names and the phrases on this box lid without choking or strangling or sneezing. I apologize, I am still sick. First of all, when you bring the box up in Design Space, I've gotten rid of everything else for the tutorial because we don't need it. I've detached my score lines. The Merry Christmas box that I did is an image in Design Space, and so is It's a Girl, It's a Boy. It's all here. If you click on these and bring them into Design Space, a lot of times they're going to have that shadow layer. You just need to unhide it, and it's ready to go. You just need to size it however you want to put it on your box, etc. For this one, and just make sure you keep them grouped and do them the size that, like I said, that you want, the angle that you want. You may want yours to go in here. You just want to stay inside these score lines with your base layer, and that black is just almost touching the line there. I think that's good. Then you want to ungroup them. You want to move this out of your way. You want to move the score lines out of your way. Select them both and weld. And then you'll go back and attach your score lines. And you'll just select that, select the box lid, and align, center, and attach. I'm not going to go through all that because I just want to undo because I'm going to keep using this box lid for the tutorial. So that's one way of doing that. The other one that I used was the Merry Christmas. And sometimes Design Space does better with one word. Sometimes it does okay with phrases. This is the one that I used. It's off of Anna's Christmas Cards and Embellishments too. It's hashtag ME2F26B. This one over here will work as well. It has a shadow layer. This is Anna's Christmas Kit, MB50FO. There are several of them. This one here will work as well. This is off the Merry and Bright. But there are tons of these in here that have shadow layers that will work for you guys. You just want a good heavy layer. This one has 3 layers. I prefer the ones with 3 layers because I like to do 2 layers on top of the box. And that is the... Let's just see. I'm going to get rid of this. We don't need to bring all these in. I'm just going to insert that one and show you. That's exactly what I did on the other box. I rotated it a little. I stretched it out. Made sure that it was inside my score lines. I ungrouped it. Moved the layers out of my way. Moved the score lines out of the way. Selected them both and welded. So that's all there is to doing those. Very simple, very easy. But what if you want a name? Okay, it's a little more tricky in Design Space. If you want to put a name in there, and I'm going to go with the milkshake font for now. Let me clear all my filters. I was playing around to see. Let me clear those filters. And I know milkshake font, I believe, is free on DaFont. And of course, I'm going to freeze up right here. Text always does this with me, but I have a ton of fonts, and that's why. It's not the fault of Design Space, it's me. And there it is. Milkshake is a good Christmas font. It's scripty and it's heavy so that it cuts well with vinyl and all of that. But when we bring it into Design Space, they're not connected. The first thing we need to do is do our letter space up here and bring these in. We want them to line up and touch. You want to do this with any script font or anytime you use a script font for anything. Print and cut, all of it. And that looks pretty good. The A isn't touching, but if I bring it in much more, it's going to scrunch it up too much and make my letters fill in when I weld. So I'm going to go to Advanced, ungroup to Letters, and just slide that over to Touch. And then I'm going to select, let me get my score lines out of the way, and I'm going to weld that. Now that's nice and crisp, but it has no shadow layer. Excuse me, one second. I apologize. Like I said, I'm still sick. So what you want to do, what most people are doing to get that offset is they're duplicating, and they are enlarging it slightly and duplicating it again, and they're just setting it just off to give it a little heavier line. And oops, I didn't want to move that. I had it in a good spot. And then you're going to select that and weld it, and then you're going to duplicate that again, and again you're just going to set it off just to beef it up. And this is the slow way. You're going to weld it, and then I believe you can go to contour. Once you have it kind of beefed up and heavy, you can contour those lines out, okay? And then it's going to leave you with this. I apologize. Let me change that so you guys can see it and move it to the front. I thought I could get through a video today without hassle, but it appears that I can't. Okay, and you might have to unlock and skew that up a little bit to get it to work for you. And I'm going to even take this and duplicate it and try to beef that up just a tiny bit more. Keeping my size proportioned, arrange, move to the front. Okay, let's unlock that bottom layer and see if we can skew it up a little bit to work in there. You're just going to keep playing with both of them till you get it like you want it, to where you can get that look. I'm going to duplicate that one more time. Kind of stretch it and weld. Again, this is a way of doing it, but it is time consuming, and that looks pretty good there. I could probably live with that. Once you have that, then you're going to bring that over and you're going to group them first. Always group, don't forget to group. And size together. That shadow layer needs to be inside your score lines. So you don't want them hanging over. You want to keep it proportioned. And then you're able to put that in there in the position that you want that. Then you can ungroup and then weld this in. There are easier ways. We could also find a text, and I'm just going to leave that lowercase. It doesn't really matter for this. You're going to clear that out, go to filters, and look for a multi-layer font. So the multi-layer fonts are going to have more layers to them so that you can, I don't know if that one will have enough layer to it or not. Probably not. But the layered fonts are going to give you something to work with back there. Birthday Bash. Yeah, that's got a little bit heavier font, shadow layer on that. And what you're going to do is come over here to Advanced, ungroup to Layers, and that way you're not having to space everything. And then you can scrunch You can scrunch them up together. It's probably going to be the best. But you're going to pull these in till they touch. And weld it. And then you're going to contour and get rid of all of the little areas. In there. And then of course you'll have to bring these in as well. You might be able to stretch that slightly. Arrange, move that to the front. And again, you're going to want to skew and set those in like you need. Now, like I said, those are a couple of ways that you can do this. You can go outside of Design Space. Troy Graham, he has some tools that you can use. The text tools, it's a text and shadow layer. Now you need to have the font that you're going to select installed on your computer or it will not work. So if you're going to use the milkshake font, you need to make sure that you have it in there. You want to change your text, and I've already done this, so I'm not going to save it all again. I'm just going to show you guys how. But what you want to do is do your font size. You want a nice big font. You can move it up and down, left and right. If there's anything off to the side, it's not going to show. But you can make the workspace bigger for however you need it to work with it. So once you have your font like you want it, and this is going to be your top layer, so make sure this is what you want. You're going to right click and save the image as and save it. And I've saved that as April 1. And I'm going to cancel that because I've already saved it. Now, without moving anything, you want to change the font thickness. And you see how that is closing in? And that's what you want to do. You want to get it to where it closes in. Now, some of these fonts will get spikes on them. It will leave holes. You won't be able to, let's see if I can get that one to, it's not going to do it because I kept it a good size. But if you get those, you're going to have to either contour them out or you're going to have to slice them off, the spikes and stuff. That's what the fonts do. The tool doesn't allow for fixing that. But once you have this, then you're going to right click, you're going to save that image and save it as 2 or your shadow. Okay, and I saved mine to my desktop, and that's all you need to do. Once you've done that, you can close out. You're going to come over to Design Space and you're going to upload, and you can see here are my 2, 1 and 2. I'm just going to select them both and insert the images. And they will not, or mine don't, come in the same size. They're off. The first one is my top layer, so I'm going to change it to white so that we can see it. And then I'm just going to stretch this one out a little bit. I'm going to arrange the white one and move it to the front so that I can play around and skew and get that in there. And that looks pretty good, but I don't want that hole there. You may want it, whatever. Just come over to Contour, click on it, or hide all contours, and then you can close that out and it's gone. And there you go with that shadow layer, the name. You can bring it over here and put it in. And like I said, the milkshake font works really well for this. If you have Samantha font, he does have that tool over there for that. So that works really great as well. Now, if you don't want to do that, there is another way. I sometimes, like I told you before, I like 3 layers, and you might be able to get 3 layers out of it using the Troy Graham. But I want to, and I hope that this Font Lab pad is showing up on there. Sometimes it doesn't show up when I do screen share like I'm doing now. So I'm going to open the installed. I want the milkshake. And there it is. Font Lab pad allows you to type your font and save it as an SVG or a PNG so that you can upload it into Design Space. I'm going to save this one as a PNG because I'm going to do more to it. And I'm just going to save that to my desktop, and I'm going to say this is April for SCAL. And save that. So now that's an SVG. It has no shadow layer. There's nothing I can really do about it, but I can upload that into Design Space and have an SVG or a PNG of my name. Very easy, very simple, and quick, but no shadow layer. What I like about SCAL is when you open it up, this is how it looks, but we don't need the library. I'm going to close that. I'm going to click on Trace. I'm going to choose an image. I'm going to find that SCAL PNG. I'm going to open it, and I'm going to say OK. That's all I need to do. I'm going to hold my Shift key. I'm going to make it bigger, and you see it already has a shadow layer back there on that. I'm going to come in and I am going to right click, and I'm going to go to Appearance. I'm going to add a shadow layer and tell it how big I want that shadow layer. And then I can say OK. Or I can come up here and I can say Appearance, and I can add a shadow layer and do a blackout shadow and say OK. And now I can, you can see that I have the shadow layer there. I have that blackout, and then I can object break apart, and this will break apart all of the name stuff here. I don't really need to do that, but I mean there's several ways of doing this with SCAL. I just find it easier to do it that way. There is another way. Let me just go to File. So if you want to invest in SCAL, there are tons of things you can do. The effects that you have, you can do puzzle generators, you can do rhinestones, you can do shadow layers. There's a ton. But let me just show you, if you don't use WebPad, let me delete all of that, how easy it is to do your text. I'm going to select the text tool. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to look for milkshake. And I told you I have a ton of fonts installed, so that's why it gives me a hassle sometimes. And then I'm just going to click over here on my canvas. I'm going to type my name. I am going to select, go back to my selection tool, the arrow up here. I'm going to hold the Shift key so it keeps proportion. I'm going to stretch it. I'm going to right click, and these will come in as separate letters into Design Space, and you'll weld those. But I'm going to do an appearance. I'm going to do add a shadow layer. I'm going to change that shadow layer to pink just so I can see it, and say OK and OK. Then I'm going to select it again. I'm just drawing a box around it. I'm going to do appearance. I'm going to do add a shadow layer, and I'm going to do a blackout shadow, and I am going to change that to blue just so that I can see it. And there we go. Now all I have to do is go to File, Export, save it to my desktop, and I'm going to save this as April Layered. That gives me my 3 layers because I really love the look of 3 layers on that box. I'm going to save it. I can close and say OK. It's going to set it up for Design Space. I don't want to save that. I'm going to go to Upload, Upload Image, Browse, April. There's the layered SVG. Open it. I'm going to save it, tag it, select the image, insert it, and here you see my 2 layers and this. I'm going to drag this over here out of the way. I'm going to ungroup it, and before I do anything, I'm going to select this and weld. Now it's one piece. I have my 3 layers to go on this box. I'm going to group them, and I'm not worried about anything except the shadow layer. I'm going to put my score lines so that I stay within them. and it is within the score lines. That's perfect. Ungroup. Move my score line. Oops, wrong one. Undo. Move my score lines out of the way. Select these two, weld, and I'm ready to cut. Love Escal. Super, super, super easy to use. It is well worth it. Right now it's $43.98 over at SVG Tools. I'll supply a link for you guys for that. Super easy to use. If you have any trouble, there's tons of videos on it. I'll help you with it. But the effects and things that you can do, curved text, barrel text, the Star Wars stretched out. I mean, you're just not limited using the Escal. So if you're interested in that, just let me know and I'll help you guys out with that. And want to leave. I'm not going to save that. And for those of you who don't know, we created the K-Cup and creamers. I did a Halloween birthday gift one out of that. Someone requested that I do one with just K-Cups for those who don't use creamers. So I did one that holds 9 K-Cups. And I also did one that'll hold miscellaneous cookies and candies. These are cut lines. These will cut. You'll fold those flaps down. They are going in opposite directions to hold the goodies in place. And then I left a blank over here for you guys to create your own. So you can, if you want like 2, you can come over here and figure out the size of this. You can slice this and get the size and bring it over here and slice them out. However you want. These you can just detach and copy them and pull them over. Or duplicate, not copy. Well, I guess copy would be one too. But these are shared only in our group files. This is mine, so I don't believe this is public, so they won't be able to get them from that. If you guys are not sharing outside the group, they have to join the group to get them. Come on over to Cricut Crafting if you're not a member of the group, and we'll be happy to share these files with you, or Cricut Maker projects. You guys have a wonderful day. I hope that this cleared things up for you on doing the names on the boxes. I've given you several ways of doing those. If you have any trouble whatsoever and you just cannot grasp it, please just message me, and if I have time, I will make one for you. I can't make you a ton of them, but I don't mind making one here or there as time allows. You guys have a wonderful crafting day and make something beautiful. Post your projects over into the groups. Don't forget to subscribe.